quiet seaside town, an evil lain to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Tabletop Gold, episode 198. You are in for a treat, everybody. It is another edition of our critically acclaimed, internationally lauded, and beloved the through all time and space podcast. Hi, I'm Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. You know who else is here? It's Robin Lange.
Good that time. I had a whole thing that I was going to say, and then you went off into time and space, and it's gone. So how dare you?
That's the risk. Anytime you invoke time and space, you can lose stuff. Humphreys is here. Do you find that to be true?
I'm going to say good multiverse time to everybody. Wherever you are in that multiverse.
Everyone loves a multiverse. Nobody ever complains about multiverses, so I'm glad we're doing one. David Chernicoff, the Tin Man, is here.
Good those times, Lars.
Good those times. And Zoe Chernicoff is here as well. Hi, Zoe.
Good all the times.
Good all the times.
All the times.
We are going to get into our game in two shakes of a lamb's tail. We have a mysterious sort of revelations. We're like kind of getting into hitting the like home stretch of our adventure, which is very exciting and very fun. It's something we've been obviously gearing up for a long time. I'm excited to see these final pieces falling into place. But before we do that, I think very frequently about a teacher that I had when I was a kid who pronounced one word very, very strangely.
Oh.
And I want to share this with you, if I may. And I want to know if you have any other experiences of strange pronunciations. I think it's possible that this is like a regional thing. Like this person, this teacher, this art teacher that I had when I was in, I guess when I was 5 years old and I would have been in like first or second grade or whatever. She pronounced the word W-O-L-F. The word that I would pronounce wolf, she pronounced woof. And this is something that I think about all the time. It rattles around in my head maybe once every 3 days or so. Just considering this teacher who is like, who here would like to show their drawing of the woof that they made? And I just can't handle it. So I have two questions for you. One, have any of you heard this pronunciation woof for the word wolf? Is this a thing that you've interacted with before? Have I made this up? Is this a fabricated memory of mine? Perhaps, who's to say? And question two, have you ever had a weird pronunciation that's rattled around in your head like that? Is this a common thing for people?
I've definitely heard people call wolves woofs before. And to me, I always assumed it was because it was like a cute thing to call a wolf doing a woofing thing, you know? Like
you thought it was like a term of endearment?
Or like a cute way of saying wolf as opposed to like the ravening maw of the bestial hound beast thing. You know, like
sure. That's obviously your second go-to option for referring to a wolf.
And also totally how a first and second grade teacher is going to present the animal to a classroom. I assume. I'm not a teacher.
I can
Robin, you can confirm that. Yeah.
I was just teaching. I actually subbed for a first grade classroom today, and absolutely ravenous maw is how most things get described.
That makes sense, actually. Most things in 2025 have like
a ravenous maw.
Some degree of ravenous maw to them, at least
literally or figuratively.
Yeah, exactly.
I will say I did not detect at the time. Again, this is many, many years ago that we're talking about this at this point. I did not detect any cutesiness. This was a person who was speaking to the people in the room as though they were adults.
Yeah.
She would use what I would describe as unaccented, which I guess means like Northeastern American English. And everything was normal except that she said the word woof.
I was watching a video recently of like a lecture, and the lecturer totally no accent whatsoever. And then there was like one word he said. I was like, oh, you're from Fairfield County, aren't you? Like,
that's
you're from
amazing.
exactly where in the world I'm from, because I also say that word like that. And when you hit it really hard, it sounds weird.
What word was that?
Written.
Written.
Oh,
Like
Written.
everything, when you're saying everything else super clearly, and then you go, and then it was written. And it's jarring, the glottal stop in that when you don't, with those double T's. It's
Written.
written, kitten, mitten.
Kitten.
It's a Connecticut thing,
Hmm.
and particularly
even more so than the muffins?
Western Connecticut. Yeah, I think so. I mean, that came first, I think.
The
Okay.
Connecticut muffins?
You don't.
Oh, Connecticut muffins
Is
good.
Connecticut famous
They
for its
do-
muffins?
There's
It's
a
a
New
good
York
chain.
chain called Connecticut Muffins
Yeah.
that I've
Oh,
always
I've
thought
seen
was
that. I've seen that.
hilarious because
Yeah.
what?
Right.
And Brooklyn Bagel was all in Queens.
Yes. Brooklyn Bagel in Queens.
At least a Brooklyn bagel is like a plausibly an item. Connecticut muffin just isn't any. It's
Yeah.
like there's no such. It's like if an English muffin were a term that were thrown around, but there weren't any such thing as a distinct item called an English muffin. It was just like a slice of toast or whatever.
It's a weird branding also because muffin, when I hear about a muffin, I want something like warm and comforting and like nurturing and you know, enjoyable. And when I think about
Malty.
Connecticut, I think about harsh and
Cold winters with
How dare
cold.
you? Yeah, it's true.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, I was actually listening to a podcast earlier this week,
Here goes.
and one of the hosts was saying that he, for most of his life, mispronounced the word amygdala
Okay.
because his his high school bio teacher, whatever it was, pronounced it amygdala.
Like from Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. And so it took him years to realize that it wasn't everyone else who's pronouncing it wrong. It was just that one teacher who had taught him to pronounce it
Wait a
wrong.
second. Are you telling me that the correct pronunciation isn't Princess Amygdala? Because that's blowing my yeah, I mean, I can think of words that I didn't have the right pronunciation for, usually because I initially learned them from reading them and never actually heard anybody say them. And then you
100%.
encounter them spoken to you out in the wild, and like there's this weird moment of vertigo of like, oh, that person said it wrong. And then you're like, wait, maybe I've been reading it wrong to myself in my head all of this time. That's the most
Yeah.
common like in my own experience, the most common version of what you're describing, Lars, that I've
Yeah.
like one of those for
Yeah.
me was the word patina, which I thought was pronounced patina.
Patina.
And then for a while, I knew that patina was right, but I thought that both were acceptable pronunciations.
Ah.
And then I bit it really hard at one point by being like, oh, I thought you could say either one. And my counterpart being like, no, that's not. So,
Being like, hell no, you can't do that.
yeah, she was pretty polite about it, although she does still bring it up from time to time. Just
Yeah, okay.
ask me.
That doesn't,
Okay, my
doesn't
mother
sound
still
that
makes
polite.
fun of how I mispronounced Gibraltar when I was in 5th grade. So
How did you pronounce Gibraltar in 5th grade?
I had actually missed that day in class, and I was
You missed
doing
Gibraltar
the
Day.
worksheet,
Classic.
and I looked up at my mother. Whatever day we were going over it in geography class, and I
Yeah.
looked up at my mom as I'm going through this work. She goes, "Mom, where's Gibraltar?"
I like that.
I want to go to
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar. That sounds great.
Gibraltar is amazing.
I want to go to Gibraltar.
You know, the way the place that I imagine in my mind for what was it, Gibraltar,
Gibraltar.
Gibraltar?
could not be more different than the way that I imagine Gibraltar in my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're almost like
Right,
exact.
Gibraltar sounds cool.
Yeah,
Right,
It
they're
sounds
almost
great.
like like feuding enemies.
We should maybe do an adventure in Gibraltar at some point.
I had one
No
as
question,
a
yeah.
kid, which I don't even know if it was like seeing the word written. It must have been, but I was like 6 or 7, where for that period of my youth, I referred to the mythical creature as the abdominal snowman.
Mhm.
Except
You imagine
there was,
like a yeti with a
spaghetti.
6-pack.
You
Yeah.
gotta hit your core, bro.
Yeah.
You're
Right,
gonna get cold out here if you don't hit your core.
Abominable Snowman Lars would voice.
He hangs out with that that devil alpha bro
Yeah.
Yes.
that we made the deal with.
My mispronounced word from book only, no speaky, was at my 16th birthday. I was attempting to, say how grateful I was to my mother for the goings on. And I said, "Oh, what a grandiose celebration this was." The word being, of course, grandiose, but it was French. It had the framboise at the end.
Yeah.
So, there you go.
I like that.
That's charming.
It's charming. It captured something that you meant to say.
Yeah.
It's
You wanted.
wholesome as hell.
Everyone was laughing at me, and it was
All
just
of these are really charming. Woof included.
Woof
Yeah.
included. She was a great art teacher.
Except maybe Patna. I don't think it's that charming.
I kind of like Patna, to be perfectly honest with you. It's fun to
Yeah.
say that way.
It's just such
It
a
is fun.
smart thing to be like, this is the thing I wasn't sure how to
Yeah.
pronounce.
I
There's-
don't know.
Plenty of people who are like, what the hell is a patina? Or patina even. What the
Yeah.
hell's a patina?
I know. I don't know where I ran across reading the darn thing in the first place. But if it seems to you like a smarty pants version of the question, the reason it came to mind is that I did such an unsmarty pants thing related to it, like within the last year, and I'm still getting made fun of for it. So.
Well, that's the classic,
Love
right?
that.
It's when you're stretching out a little bit that you're
Mm.
most likely to injure yourself.
Yeah.
Is my understanding.
Yeah. By the way, I'm pretty out on woof. I don't buy
You
it.
don't like it?
Yeah, pumpkin.
Well, fair enough. What do you say we get into our game? Let's move
What if we
on.
pumpkin to our game?
Oh.
Shall we? Let's get pumpkin to our game.
Into
Thank
the
you, Rob.
game.
Let's get pumpkin to it. Let's play our pump game.
Great. You've cracked into Belcora Haravex's treasure vault and have started exploring its many strange chambers. The first room you've entered once breaching the vault's defenses contained, by some providence, exactly what you were here looking for. Answers about how to use the 4 lenses containing Nimbleoth's essence to complete your mission to save Absalom and Galarian at large. The biggest of the answers you found here comes in the form of something called the Fulcrum Lattice. It's a bulky contraption devised by Belcora and her assistant Volek Azernay to transport and use the 4 lenses without drawing the malevolent attention of Nimbleoth herself. And it just so happens that it could be of vital importance in your upcoming confrontation with Belcora. There is still one more lens to be found here on the 9th level of the Abomination Vaults, but first, here in the dusty library sanctum of the Treasure Vault, there are some more items of questionable morality to sift through, not the least of which being a ring bearing the all too familiar symbol of Nimbleoth with the power to help its wearer mislead and deceive.
So did we decide to formally to give the lying belt to Ao?
I think the question is, are you going to try and take it from her?
Who else would benefit from it, in all honesty?
Yeah, no,
Well,
just
arguably all of
just-
you by my not having it, but
Well, it only depends. Does Ao plan to lie to the rest of the
all
group?
right. How about this?
Definitely
Mag asks, Ao's been who has been examining the thing? Has Ao been examining the thing to determine it? Okay, so Ao has been examining the thing. So Mag asks Ao, all right, so what do you think it is?
it's a belt that will make me more powerful. It will make my ability to deceive, to distract, to get us closer to solving this riddle once and for all. Mag, this could be it. This could be the tool we need.
Well, I suppose I can imagine needing to mislead and misdirect our adversaries.
Could aid in feinting against an enemy in combat as well. I could see usages for it.
We could use it to help the Emsen Corp. I mean, if we can get the people in town to believe even greater things about the Trill Cakes, riches could be ours. This really could be it. Could be everything.
See a certain logic in focusing our energies on the grave threat that we all face. Ao, can you Can you tell from what you've examined whether or not it's been used before? The lies that have been enhanced or conjured by Belcora herself or whomever else might have worn it in the past?
Lars, can I tell that?
Yeah, so this room, you've been to a few different places around these dungeons that are like Belcora's office, Belcora's like reading room, you've been to various places that are like that were, when she was alive, the like focal points of her day-to-day existence here. This room, this vault of secrets that you're in right now, is like where she kept all of her most precious valuables. So you can reach the conclusion that this ring of lies, was something that would have been precious to Belcora, and whether she had it made or whether she found it or whatever, you don't have a great sense of, but this would have been one of her more powerful personal artifacts that she used while she was alive.
Ooh. Lars, do we remember seeing it on her father or any of the other cultists in the flashback?
I love that.
Question.
Great question. Istin searches through his memory of this star reading, and you don't have a sense that this ring would have been worn by those people, but you do know that the cultists that you saw in the vision in Belcora Harovex's basement when she was first introduced to Nimbeloth, this sort of ring was certainly worn by her relatives all throughout this this festivities. And I just want to mention that there is one more identical looking ring on the table in front of you bearing the exact same symbol. So yes, Istin's memory of
the one with less
this,
moss.
The one with less moss. It's true.
Yeah, what about that other one?
Yeah.
Before I move on to the other one, I want to get a sense, Zoe, of how Ao is feeling about this fulcrum lattice. And I actually have art of the fulcrum lattice I can put on screen right now.
Whoa.
Okay, now I understand. Like from above, like just kind of the map art. I couldn't quite visualize it from that. This absolutely looks like something that you would find in a lighthouse.
Yeah, it's like if a Fresnel lens and like a movie projector had a really angry baby.
Yeah. Where would the lens, like, is there, so the lenses would be stored and then one would go in the center in that actual lens holder part?
Multiple lenses fit in here. So I don't know exactly from how it is that we're looking at it exactly how it works, but multiple lenses can snap in to make a compound lens, which is what would fuel the thing. The one thing I'll mention about this then is that, Mag, when you put this in the bag of holding, this thing was much lighter than it looks. Like the art you're seeing looks like this thing is like a 70-pound, solid metal contraption, right. And it is substantially more mobile, more movable, and more usable than that, such that it feels like magically enhanced. I just want to get a sense, Zoe, how is Ao feeling about this as she pockets this ring of lies, perhaps slipping it on? How is she feeling about the sort of revelation of the fulcrum lenses? Because this is like a vital piece of information about how to use these lenses, how to use them for good or whatever else. Like there are mysteries that have just been solved, and I want to get a sense how you think Ao would react to that.
Yeah.
Am I answering with the lying ring on or truthfully?
It's up to you. It's up to you.
We'll never know.
So I think the fulcrum lattice is a little bit of a mixed bag for her, because it's sort of destroying this not very well or factually formed idea she's had that like she herself might actually physically host these lenses in some sort of grotesque way, which she never really knew if that was like swallowing them or wearing them in her bandolier or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Strange tattoos. So it's like a little bit breaking an important worldview she's had, but I think she also pretty quickly pivots to seeing its utility, right? Because it's answering the question that she sort of like thought she had a vision for how it would work, but didn't really actually have a plan, and like giving her a plan for how all the lenses can come together and be utilized. Like, she'll be able to, if she could be the one to hold this and have the lenses in it, it like gives her access to each of their respective powers. And also, like, this seems to suggest that they will now have a thing that allows them to harness the lenses for whatever end state they need to be put into.
It sounds to me almost like you're saying that there's this thing is this fulcrum lattice. I'm going to put the art up one more time. This fulcrum lattice is almost more mundane than what Ao's imagination had carried her off to. There's sort of like a de-romanticized feeling here, like the infinite possibilities of your imagination have been constrained now to this like singular object, but that object is itself so potent or powerful or usable that's spurring in its own new like flights of fancy for Ao's imagination.
Let's put it this way. She's gone from thinking of it as a patina, and now she understands it's a patina, and she the fulcrum lattice is her patina.
What I've gotten out of all of this is now with the ring, one Zoe always tells the truth and one Zoe always lies.
Oh, ask the other Zoe.
Yes.
I just want to let you know what this ring does. It gives you a +2 item bonus to deception checks. That's like huge. That's obviously a big part of Ao's bread and butter is deception. So that's a big step forward for her. Once per day, I don't understand how that's rude, but okay. Once per day, you can snap your fingers to cast the spell Honeyed Words. Falsehoods pass your lips as smoothly as silk. You gain a +4 status bonus to perception checks to lie, and against perception checks to discern if you are telling the truth, et cetera, et cetera. If the implausibility of your lies prompts a circumstance penalty or a DC increase, reduce that penalty by half or increase it by half. What that means is you can lie extremely, extremely capably once per day just by snapping your fingers, is the deal. And the lie doesn't even need to be that good. So.
That's great.
It is great. So we have one more of these rings sitting on the table in front of us. Would anybody like to attempt to open such a thing?
Yeah, I think Trill would definitely take a look at it.
Okay. I'm going to throw an identification check into the chat if you wouldn't mind taking a look at it. You can do Arcana, Nature, Religion, or Occultism to try to recognize this second Nimbleoth symboled thing. Trill takes a look at it, does not have much luck. Then Isthan takes a look at it for 10 minutes, doesn't have much luck. Would Ao like to take a look at it?
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, no. I don't know. I don't even have an answer or anything anymore.
I don't get a boost from oddity identification on that.
Oh, that's a good point. How does that work again? What does that do?
It's a +2 to whatever it is that I rolled.
You know what? You're absolutely right. If you get a +2, you hit it on the head. So for oddity identification for the win. Trill seems like she's not going to have a great sense of what this is, but then her training about strange and unusual items comes in handy for her, and she identifies this item as a greater pendant of the occult. This is a pendant that gives you a +2 bonus to occultism checks, and you can cast the guidance cantrip as an innate spell, and you can cast dream message with it once per day to send messages into people's dreams.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I really like that. Then I can also retrain guidance out of my cantrips.
Yes.
I really want this.
There's a lot. Okay,
Please.
So Trill's going to take that.
Thank you.
What messages is Trill going to send into everyone's dreams?
Oh, y'all are going to start having weird ass dreams.
I was back at my high school, except it wasn't my high school and I wasn't me. But also I didn't have pants on.
Oh, guys. I just had so many ideas.
Uh-oh.
Lars, just pulling back the curtain, Lars mentioned something in an email recently. And now that I have this, oh boy.
Yeah, you could start sending daily dream messages to Carmen Rajani asking him to check in.
Oh my gosh. How's hell?
Right.
Hey, bud.
Oh, we sent him to hell. That was a really tasteless joke. I forgot.
Yeah.
No, I thought
I loved it. I thought it was
Hell-
great.
Yeah, I'm kind of here
hell's
for
hell.
it.
I'm imagining like
Right.
basically TikTok videos that you send to him of like
I thought you were
just
saying
sort
that's what hell was. I was like,
well,
yeah,
I mean,
probably.
but isn't that part of his punishment, right? He's like suddenly getting 30-second vertical vids
His,
from the people who sent him there.
his
checking in.
punishment in hell is that he's a content creator.
Yes.
Hey guys, it's your boy Carmen here in hell getting tortured by a guy named Barkum Buck.
Man, you forget
Barker
one.
Buck's gone.
Well, you forget
I
one
know.
person that you like damned eternally.
The one person you damned eternally.
Spit is lasting longer than getting reminded about my patent mistake.
Armet, you mentioned that Isthin was interested in taking some of the books out of here. Does that sound right
Oh.
to Isthin?
Yeah, definitely. If like he can pester Mag to, identify whichever compartment of or sub-compartment really of the bag of holding where the journals would fit. I think, are there any other tomes that are of like value or interest, I guess is a question.
Yeah, for sure. We've got the Poison Codex. Oh, these are all over the place. We have the map of the Inner Sea from Isan Kalir. That's kind of fun. I'll just put it right in here with some of the others.
So Isthin is able to identify a number of potentially useful looking tomes from this Vault of Secrets on topics ranging from Nimbleoth, ghosts, Haravek's family history, that sort of thing, and you're able to secret that away into the bag of holding
Awesome.
alongside the other valuable texts that you've encountered throughout your exploration.
That's great. That might help us if we ever want to research a topic or try and recall knowledge with those or something.
Yeah, it looks like occultism specifically.
Yes.
So that's cool.
So about 30 minutes after you've entered this room, it's 9 o'clock in the morning or so, and you get the sense that between the fulcrum lattice, between the information, these two rings, this key, all this other stuff, there's not much here in this room for you to gather information or treasure from. So perhaps it's time to move on.
Sounds good.
So if you step back into this chamber that Calido was set up in, this Calido, of course, the Grave Knight that you fought tooth and nail to just survive an encounter with, you see that there are a number of potential doorways for you to search through. There's one doorway here to the south that looks like it is locked with one of those vault keys. And you recall that there are two more in the antechamber where you fought the clay effigy that could potentially have some more treasure or information within them. What do we think? Where do you want to go first?
I imagine while Trill is kind of playing with her new pendant, she immediately starts walking to the other door we haven't gone through yet in this chamber, and puts her ear up against it to see if she can hear anything.
Yeah, you hear nothing on the other side of this door.
Istin, you think maybe here is where we're gonna find the treasure?
I certainly hope so.
We've already kind of found some treasure, but is it standard treasure value? I don't know. Who knows what could still be here?
Right.
I mean, if this is where Belcora put all of her valuable shit,
Right.
What are we gonna find in here?
I mean, it's gotta be good shit, right?
She had some good style, right?
I have to say, yeah, she was a very fashionable evil overlord, as these
I
things
think you
go.
kind of have to be.
Right? Yeah. No.
who's leading the way?
It's the
Mag will.
will follow Mag.
Yeah. Mag will open the.
I'm not that interested in this, Ao says, trying out the ring to see if it be convincing.
Oh no, we're gonna have a permanent opposite day problem.
Right.
I
No,
love
we
that we're
won't.
just traveling with a toddler.
Okay.
It's great.
So anytime we need to know whether or not Ao is currently lying to us, we have to ask her whether, how would other Ao pronounce the word patina?
Right. This is the barber haircut thing. It's tricky.
Yeah.
Mag extends one of Calido's black keys to this vault door and opens it easily. Ka-chunk. The heavy metal lock slips apart and the door swings open, and you find yourself looking into a room filled with like ancient weapon racks that have fallen apart, collapsed, disintegrated over the many years that it has been left unattended here. There are swords, spears, and axes jumbled on the floor. A couple of these jump out at you. Not literally. They're not animated.
I was about to say,
animated.
but wait, last time we saw one of these, it was a mimic.
Phrasing, please.
Yes, sorry. You find 3 noteworthy, but I'm not going to bother asking you to identify them because they are relatively, they're beautiful, they're great, but they're not exotic. First off, there is a warhammer made out of adamantine, a standard grade adamantine warhammer.
That would have been
Sounds strong.
good
Okay.
getting in here with that thing.
Yeah.
Mother
so
man.
adamantine is the metal that can break through other materials really, really easily. Like I don't recall exactly, but I feel like that clay effigy, if this isn't the case, it's the kind of thing that is typically the case.
Yeah, I
They would
remember.
resist all damage except adamantine. Like adamantine is the thing that busts through objects really, really, really well.
I did remember seeing that when you showed us the character block or the stat block. Sorry.
This one is standard grade, which means that it can fit more better runes. Like the way that this game does precious materials is low grade is good for like +1 runes, standard grade is good for +2 runes, et cetera, et cetera. So this is like potentially a good platform for a boutique weapon for you to use. That's a adamantine warhammer.
Hey.
Sounds like that's going to go in the bag of holding for Mag to play with.
There's a lot that can be done with this, for sure.
Yeah. In fact, it doesn't have any runes on it, I guess. So
Yeah, and it's not
Yeah.
ready yet, but
It's
I
not
feel
ready
like
yet,
once we
but
get back
it's-
to to blacksmith, Mag can have some fun with this.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a lot of room to play with here, for sure. The next thing you find is a +2 striking battle axe. So this is just a battle
Bunch
axe
of shit for Mag.
that just does tons of damage, if that's what you're into.
Iston might.
Does Iston like battle axes?
No, but he might like the +2 rune because Ao has a +2, Mag is a +2.
Oh yeah, because we could take that off and then just sell the battle axe,
Yeah.
right?
You could. So I'm going to slip that in the bag of holding also. I think that we've got a little bit of discussion to take on offline to figure out what we're doing is what I'm learning from this.
Yeah. How much are we all paying Mag to get all these goodies back from the bag of holding? You have to play
Whatever
that
it
for.
takes.
And the final item of interest that you find, you reach in and you find a beautiful looking chain shirt. This is a +2 resilient chain shirt.
Whoa.
Ooh. Who can wear the chain? Is chain light armor or is it medium weight
Chain
armor?
is light armor, yes.
Oh, Trill could take chain, couldn't she?
Yeah.
Did she take light?
Yeah, you should. You
Trill
should.
could be less squishy?
That seems like there's an immediate
Truly
positive
slightly
that
less
comes from
squishy.
that.
Seems like a good plan.
Yeah.
I don't even remember if I'm wearing armor. Oh, yeah, I am.
You are.
I am. It's only +1 resilient, but I think the +2 going to Trill would be,
Yeah, Trill's only got leather arm, +1 leather
and it
armor
has to be
on
light
still.
for you to wear it, right? So this is a
Yeah.
pretty dope little.
Yeah, she's a itty bitty.
Ooh.
So I'm dropping this into Trill's character sheet.
Mercy. Can we move that leather armor into the bag of holding to sell later then?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
The onlyest thing about this chain shirt is that it has the noisy trait, which is going to give you a slight penalty to stealth checks.
Her stealth is already pretty good, so that's okay.
Very good. And that's what you find here in this armory. This armory filled with weapons of destruction and armor here in the treasure vault. Where else would you like to go?
Should we go check out the other rooms that were off that first room?
Yeah, we should.
Because we didn't find any other doors yet, right? We found that one hidden door.
And we
And
haven't
other than
gone
that-
down
I guess
that
we
way,
haven't
have
gone back to those double doors. No, we did. It was the
Oh,
elevator.
We
it was
went
the
through,
teleporter
those
room.
double
Yeah,
doors
yeah,
were the
okay. Thank you. for
magical
reminding me.
elevator.
Yeah, if we don't see any other
Slash incinerator.
closets full of the coolest gear ever, then yeah, let's head back out to the
Shall we go clockwise?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Ao says. No.
Just for flavor, as we pass by the remains of the clay effigy, Mag takes the adamantine hammer out of the bag of holding and briefly like tests its effect on like some larger hunks of clay, and is pleased to see it like render them instantly sandy.
Absolutely. Smashes right through as though it wasn't even rock.
Mag is now fantasy Gallagher.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
She holds it as she gets ready to replace it in the bag of holding. She mutters to herself, "It is not a slicer. It is not a dicer."
I feel like the front row in that wood is so much worse.
The splash zone at Gallagher?
Yeah, well, getting like no, as in getting a splash zone for like just a bunch of dirt,
Yes.
like hard dirt.
Yeah.
Versus
That's
I'd
not
rather
good.
have watermelon than
You
hard
don't want
dirt.
that. That's true. I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, and there's our episode title.
So as Mag finishes smashing this bit of clay effigy, there are 2 more doors leading off to the north that you could potentially take a look at if you were so interested.
Let's do that.
Okay. So Mag uses Calido's keys to open another of these vaults. This door is hard to open. Like Mag, once she unlocks it, needs to sort of put her shoulder into it to push the door aside. And as soon as you get the door open, you see from the inside of the door that that the door has been warped by an explosion. Like something in here blew up, changed the shape of the door, and now the door is like wedged shut. There's wood, like tangled bits of wood and glass and pottery that are all intertwined with each other as though they're the wreckage from some large explosion as well. And there are scorch marks scarring the stone walls.
Maybe Ao might want to send in the her mage hand just to see if there's anything else explosive in there before anyone sets foot in.
Absolutely.
Ao's mage hand sifts through the rubble in this room for some time, doesn't find anything of much value. Anything that would have been valuable here seems as though it has been destroyed in an explosion.
I think Trill might want to still go in just to see if there's any other door, like any other passages she can find, now that we've kind of established that nothing's going to blow up by being moved.
Right. So as Trill ventures into this room, you hear the scrunch, scrunch, scrunch of broken glass under your feet, getting crunched underneath your boots. There's still a vague chemical smell in here, but it seems like it has been dissipated by the years since whatever it is that happened here. You don't see any additional exits or anything like that. It just seems like this was a storage chamber that an accident befell.
I gotta be honest, I never understand these things when we first come across them. Because I feel like if they took the time to put this in a story, there's gotta be, like in the adventure, there's gotta be some story behind it, right?
And the like thing that comes to mind of area where there's a sign of an explosion in the past is the one from, I think it was like the 2nd or the 3rd level. That was where the Rose Guard confronted Belcora, and it resulted in like a giant hole in the floor. We got this flashback at one point from the Zebub of like seeing the half the Rose Guard like disappear under. So I just associate like this kind of combat with that part of the story. We're so far down, it doesn't seem likely that it's literally still connected there, but like for sign of ancient, for sort of forensic site of ancient like story significant battle.
For
maybe Mag could come in and do a crafting check.
Yeah.
See if like Mag can evaluate what happened in here. Sorry, I cut you off, Armat.
I was just going to say they often do, from what I've learned from running them, is sometimes they have rooms that have like some flavor to them, like often coat closets, little washrooms. I think this may just be one of them that it's like, it's an interesting room. Who knows what happened? That would be
Cryptic.
my
Yeah, I
guess.
just always feel like if they take the time to write it, I want a little bit more flavor. So like maybe we're missing something at this moment. This is just my own personal feelings about rooms like this. Like kind of the disappointment. I remember it was like on this third level back in the library. We found the water closet, or we just got like a wand to put out fire.
That was good,
That's
though.
actually
There was
great.
a wand in there. That was sick.
That did end up being
Was
useful,
sick.
but like it was just like cool. This is where the fire hose is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
fire
magical
extinguisher.
fire hose. It's awesome. David, do you want to have Mag go in and do a little crafting exploration?
Sure, if crafting seems appropriate to the
Crafting totally seems appropriate.
Okay.
I'm not going to ask you to make a check. Mag stepping into this room and calling upon her knowledge of crafting. This looks as though this was a storage vault for alchemical items. And it seems like there was many shelves containing all kinds of different explosives, bombs, poisons, etc. And just something broke maybe 100 years ago, and it led to a chain reaction of all of these different bombs smashing into each other, shattering each other, and blowing everything in this room up.
Okay, so it's just like the basement in my parents' ancient house that just occasionally were like, oh, cool, this thing broke too.
Yes. That's what it says here. It says it's like Robin's parents' basement.
The Blair Witch basement, as we often call it.
Yeah, sounds more like Walter White's basement, but I take your point.
It's, all the same direction, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Disclosure.
Wow.
We can.
Now, I've heard a bit more like weeds. It is Connecticut, so.
Yes. Those sweet Connecticut muffins. All right, maybe we should move.
I'll get my
there-
mom to make
Now
you
there's
some.
our episode title.
Yeah.
So there's one more room here in this treasure vault. Mag steps forward, opens the lock, and you are looking into a room that contains 3 iron chests in 3 different sizes that are lined up against the north wall of this room.
Are they mimics?
You're scouting to see if they are mimics. So if they are, you might get a jump on them before they jump out at you.
How long can mimics stay alive without having eaten anything?
I think that's a reasonable question, and I think that maybe makes Trill less suspicious of these being mimics. So there's a large chest, a medium chest, and a small chest. Would anybody like to open these?
Let's
Can we send the mage
try out
hand in?
these keys.
Sure. The mage hand flies into the room. Zoe, what is the mage hand doing? We have 3 different chests here. What do we think?
It picks the middle one.
Okay.
Hell
The
yeah.
mage hand
Baby bear that
reaches
shit.
forward. What did you say, Armin?
I said, oh, hell yeah, baby bear that shit. But baby bear wasn't the right Goldilocks bed, so this doesn't work at all. I'm sorry.
Okay, great. So the
Baby
mage
bear
hand,
that shit. Let's do it.
baby bear that shit.
Even if that's the wrong bear.
Yep.
Can you
Even
have
if it's
more
the
than
wrong
one
bear, always
title?
baby bear it.
Yeah.
Can you have more than one title for an episode?
You can.
Good.
It's like,
This
It's
is-
going to be a 4-title episode.
It's going to be a 4-title
Guys,
episode.
Well, what a
This is
Grandois
tabletop
title.
gold here.
Is all I can say.
So Ao's mage hand floats through the room and approaches this middle chest. Mage hand reaches forward and pushes the chest open, and you see glittering golden coins inside the chest. What do you do?
Does the mage hand grab a handful?
Yeah, the mage hand, it can only carry light things, right? So it has to pick up like 2 coins at a time and begin transporting them. But it's just drop it, like Ao's pockets are slowly getting a few coins at a time.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's going to take some time to unload the 500 gold pieces that you've just found.
Woo!
Oh my.
Nice.
Thanks, Belcora.
And there are 2 more chests.
And let's go back and rest. We took all the time we had.
Back to town.
So what's next? The large chest or the small chest?
The Papa Bear chest. Or no, the Baby Bear chest.
Oh my god.
I thought we just baby beared it. Did we not
We
baby
did
bear
baby
it?
bear. I
You
think we
always
baby
baby
beared
Baby
it.
bear is the middle one, which is weird.
Yeah. Is it?
That's
or is
why
it-
this is confusing.
Yeah.
But this,
Wait, does Mama Bear have a small little bed?
Well, the way that they tell it is like
no, it's not the
Papa-
size, it's the hardness.
exactly. Papa Bear's is too
Oh.
hard. Mama Bear's is too soft. Baby Bear's is just right. But then in your mind, you're thinking that the Papa Bear and the Baby Bear are going to be on opposite ends of whatever continuum it is, and Mama
Right.
Bear would be in the middle. But that's not how it rolls. It rolls try Papa to try Mama, not enough. Baby Bear just right.
Yeah.
Chair one work. I'm trying to remember now. Because
Which
I
one?
remember the porridge is too hot, too cold, just right.
Right. I think
The
it's just
chair?
like comfortable.
Papa
Um,
Bear's chair has 25 legs. Mama Bear's chair has 1 leg. Baby Bear's chair has 4 legs and is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Baby Bear's
Number of
chair
legs.
is like that chair that we found that then we rolled the D20 and we got a 17. So it was like super comfortable.
Yes.
I just, out of curiosity, Googled Mama Bear chair, and there's actually a like fancy designer chair called the Mama Bear
yeah,
chair.
yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah. Are you not
I
sitting on
want
one?
to go to there.
I am really upset by this. It's a very fancy Danish design chair.
Ooh.
I just want to know what Mama Bear's
Oh,
chair was
Okay,
wow.
like.
is it the kind of expensive upsetting where it's upsetting because it looks so weird and bad, or because it looks so great and awesome?
Right, like is it a
It's-
bunch of rebar like at
No,
a 90
it
degree
does
angle
look
that you sit
comfy.
on?
It's more of like the how design within reach is actually within no one's economical reach.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Design out of reach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's reach?
We know what's in reach is all of this gold.
I thought
I'm
we were
tired
heading back
of
to town.
I'm tired of going through this chest by chest, so I'm just going to tell you what it is that's in all of this stuff. Here's the deal. You find between these 3 chests 500 gold pieces, 8,000 silver pieces,
Dang.
and 100 platinum pieces.
Wow.
Whoa.
That would be so many days of work in Otari.
Is that enough
Plat-
platinum to like make something out of? To like make some brass knuckles or whatever?
Ooh, or like a fun
Well,
teeth.
platinum knuckles.
Yeah, platinum
Um,
knuckles.
I mean, we could then just buy some brass knuckles with maybe 1 platinum. Probably cost less, I bet, even than
I
that.
don't
I was
see
gonna
how
say,
it would
you're
work.
gonna get some change there.
I'm excited that we finally made money.
Yeah.
yeah.
Is there stuff that we've
So-
wanted to buy that we couldn't afford? I feel like we've been running more into limits of like, oh, we're not at that level yet versus we don't have the dough.
I think it's more like we've definitely been. I appreciate that. I feel like as a group, no one has been particularly greedy of like, hey, I want this ridiculous thing, and everyone just has to let me get it.
Right.
I feel like when we get more money, we can just get a little bit more ridiculous.
We can like buy a ballista or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just got way too
Or a
excited.
Keep it in the
trebuchet.
middle of Ildaris.
If anyone remembers,
I can carry the trebuchet.
she definitely can. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about 9:20 in the morning now, and the 4 of you have cleansed the treasure vault of all of its useful items.
Oh yeah.
So what's happening next? I don't know what the next. You've overcome the defenses here. You've found this. You've found a number of different meaningful things. What's next on your list, on your agenda list? Where are we going next? What's the next item? What's the next mission for this group? Let's talk about it.
What do you think, guys? Is it time to go find Kerfella and the Irideffins and get that emerald lens?
Weren't we expecting to find a lens in here?
No,
No.
because we've got the ochre lens, which is the one given to the drow.
Right, that we got
We've
from
got
the
the-
riverbed.
And we've got the crimson lens, which is the one given to the creepy gnome guys,
Yeah.
the undead watery gnomes.
That
What were those called again, Lars?
The Children of Belcora,
Yeah, but I thought there was like a specific type of
bog
the
mummies.
bog-
bog mummies. Thank you, the bog mummies.
And that was what Earthagal
So then
had,
there's
right?
the emerald lens we learned
Yes.
about, which the Erdeffins have, and then the ebon lens, which is the one that we don't really know the location of, but that's going to be probably some like end game thing with Belcora.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do the locate spell to edge our way closer. All right, well, Erdeffins next seems cool.
I just want to fill one thing in. The books that you read in this like Vault of Secrets suggest that Belcora keeps the ebon lens herself.
Right. So that would be with wherever her body's
Mm,
is. Her. I mean, so here's a question. So we've seen that battle with Belcora and the Rose Guard. And there was the explosion. Rate Zarmavdian set off the explosion that ended up killing Otari and turning him into a martyr. And then we don't know what happened to Zarmavdian still. That's still one of the mysteries of the story. But what about, like, but was Belcora destroyed in that explosion, or did her followers like take her down and her body is actually buried down in this like Nimbaloth chamber? Do we know what actually happened to her body?
Then it got burned in the incinerator.
So she tried to use the teleporter.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, you don't know anything like that about anything like that. That is an unanswered question.
But it's a good question, right?
Yeah, you're very smart.
This is the praise and this is everything I need. Thank you. Lars.
Yeah, you got it.
my love languages are explicit validation and cool treasure. Thank you, Lars.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I like it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sign me up for that.
So, if you want to head towards the Erdeffens, what's the trajectory here? What's the plan?
I think we should run the locate spell and find the Erdeffens, right?
We could do that, yeah. It's been because we went back and rested.
Yeah.
So it's the new day, so we can use the locate spell again to lead us to where they are. And that should, I imagine that would lead us to Kerfell, right?
It'll lead you to wherever the
lens
next
is.
lens is. Yeah.
Yeah.
If Kerfell still has it, then yeah, or otherwise.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, do you want to re-embark on your magical cutter?
Yes.
How much time left? How much time do we have left on the cutter?
About 10 hours.
Great. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And Trill will pull out the Ruby of Robin Lange.
Okay. The Ruby of Robin Lange
Have we?
enters Trill's hands, and you cast the locate spell. It tugs you forward and to the south. Like, it doesn't pull you down like it did when you were getting to when it was pulling you towards the ochre lens down in the bottom of the lake, right? Do you catch what I'm saying? It's pulling you straight forward, and it is pulling you to the south. And what I'm imagining happens now is a moment of about 20 minutes of slowly sailing along on the lake as Trill's pulses of this Lange ruby pull her gradually, and it's almost like the wind is softly blowing in your sails as you continue downwards to the south, following the impulses of the Lange ruby.
Trill is at the front of the boat, like one of the ladies. What is the exact word for those?
The figurehead?
Figurehead.
The figureheads, like the figurehead mermaids at the front of the boats from the 1800s.
Should we christen the boat the Flying Gnome?
Oh, that's a good boat name. I like it. The Flying Gnome.
Yeah.
Mag smashes some champagne on the prow.
Oh, that glass got on me.
We could have
All right, so it's
drunk
bringing
that.
us back down here.
Yeah, so you reach a point after a short distance where you're kind of at the shore of the lake, down to the southern side, around where a bit south of where you got in the boathouse where you first boarded this vessel. And the direction of the Lange ruby pulling you is now cryptic. It is now, you need to make a choice. The Lange ruby is pulling you straight into a rock wall here. And you see two possible ways around that rock wall. There's a small sort of inlet to your immediate west where it looks like there is a small passageway leading into the broader cavern system. Or there is a larger passageway or a larger passage down to the south. You're going to have to disembark from your boat, but because the ruby is pulling you straight into rock, you kind of need to choose right now whether you're going to be going west into a tightly confined area or south into the larger body of the hunting grounds.
It's not the smart decision, but I feel like the smaller, narrower path is the way to go.
Well, every time we go into these like fungal fields, we end up with something like irritating floating up at us and sort of killing us.
Yeah.
So
Just a little bit.
That's not, but it's not the thing we're aiming for.
Yeah, exactly. So as I typically would not necessarily be one for like, let's go check out the really narrow looking sus ass path. But I don't know. I look at the other section of the map and I'm like, I don't know. Every time we go into one of those places, we get bopped pretty good.
We kind of get bopped pretty good wherever we go. You know, I don't know.
No, that's the game.
Okay, so it sounds like
Stop
you're
it.
heading towards this tighter passageway to the west.
Yeah.
So the
Try it
four
out.
of you disembark from your boat and land your feet eventually pulling out of the water into a crunchy sort of rock-laden pathway. What are you doing as you're exploring this area, please?
I mean, Trill's casting her spell, right? So she can't really do anything else.
Okay.
She's focusing on it. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, if you're sustaining the spell, that's what you're doing while you're exploring.
Yeah,
yes.
she's sustaining the spell.
Casteen is searching.
Okay, and I'm assuming Mag is scouting for enemies.
I was
Yes,
looking
please.
for traps and searching, and also just saying a bunch of like small white lies that no one's really listening to.
Such
Okay.
as
I really love. What's
Uh,
something that AO would hate?
shoes.
Yes.
Really love
True.
escargot.
Right.
I don't know. Like, oh yeah, I love shoes.
That doesn't sound like the one.
I'm never gonna wear another disguise. I want you guys to know we're in it together.
Both of my toes are enclosed. We're in it together.
That's good.
Jesus Christ. Trill looks at Iston.
Well, at least we know she's lying.
Right. It's immensely comforting to know that.
So as Mag creeps up through this tight passageway, the of these loose rocks underneath her feet, you hear voices talking. You hear a little bit of a like, "Come on, look alive." Somebody says, "Nobody ever comes this way." Like a sort of like chatter between some irate sounding or put upon sounding guards just around the corner.
Which corner?
You can't really tell from here. Maybe off to, like, you're looking at a T intersection here in front of Mag. Maybe off to the north,
Is the which way is the Lange Ruby pulling her?
to the
Pulling
south.
Trill.
Mag holds up a hand to signal the party to stop, and then like listens for a moment, and then turns to Ao and with a gesture suggests to Ao that she don some sort of disguise and go first.
Let's
'Cause
see.
we've gone against Urdeffin, so she does know what an Urdeffin looks like.
Yeah. Let's
Yeah.
Let's
What was
try
her-
this. Let's try out this mega lying bullshit.
Uber lie.
Der Uberlei.
She makes herself look like Daria the spider. No, she looks like an Urdeffin. Was it Daria? Darla? Dara?
Dara.
Dara.
Dara the
This is
spider.
now Daria the Urdeffin,
This
right?
is Daria the Urdeffin. Yes.
Mystic Spiral is wicked cool.
Mag makes the suggestion, turns back, and then sees Ao as the spitting image of an Urdeffin warrior. Translucent blue skin covering like a sinister-looking skull. She's covered with belts on her armor, and she's holding a whip. So what is Ao going to do next?
She as Daria the Urdeffin, just sort of bows in a sort of serious way, inclining her head.
Okay, and you step forward so that they can see you?
Yes.
Okay. So, as Daria the Urdeffin, Ao steps forward and sees that there are three Erdeffins standing around this corner holding watch. The first of these you're able to see very clearly as the light from behind you sort of casts them in illumination, but the other two around the corner are a little tougher for you to see. The Erdeffin that you first approach calls out and says, "You there, stop. Who goes there?"
It is I, Daria the Erdeffin, here to show you these prisoners.
Okay, we're doing that.
This again.
Very good. So
Ao
let's
not thinking through what she's up to very well.
So let's do a little bit of this. Let's do a deception. I'm like looking at the rules of impersonate right now. I'm going to roll a deception check for Ao to get this impersonation out of control or under control.
How many different boosts does AO get now on this?
Yeah,
This is a
like
plus 4
basically
because-
assurance in deception, but if assurance was like a real thing that mattered.
Well, okay. Yes, exactly. Thank you. So we're going to do an impersonate. I get a plus 4 to this. I'm going to expose that roll for all of you just so you can see what it is that just happened. I rolled a 1 on the die.
Okay.
Oh
It
no.
always happens, and it's always good.
So funny.
Which means that the creature can tell you're not who you claim to be, and it recognizes you if it would
wait, no,
know
it went
you
the wrong
without
way.
a disguise.
Whoops, it went the wrong way.
Went the other
I thought it meant that
way.
the other character rolled a 1.
No, Ao rolled a 1. So this Erdeffin Lasher looks out at Ao and says, There's no Erdeffin named Daria. That's a crazy name for an Erdeffin to have. Who are you? Who are these people with you?"
And Ao, sort of panicking, turns into Norman.
Oh,
It's me! Hey, it's Norm!
Okay, and all
She
of the
sounds-
Erdeffins are...
Norm!
The two more Erdeffins come around the corner, like poking their heads around the corner, and they're just like, "What the fuck is this?" Roll for initiative.
We're here for your regular teeth cleaning.
Well, I would say I tried. I don't know if that's right. I think I'm good on stealth, right, Lars? I'm super hidden.
You're definitely good on deception if you want to roll deception for initiative, and I'll give you a plus 4 on
Isn't
that
the
one.
problem that I'm not very good on deception here? Oh my
You're
God,
great
another
on
1.
deception. If you would stop rolling a 1, what are you doing? Stop it.
I don't
the
know.
way these
I don't
initiative
know.
rolls are panning out.
Yeah, that's bananas. You get a plus 21 to your deception. Like, that's so many pluses.
And
It's
I
a
still
lot of
didn't. It didn't
pluses.
happen. Yeah.
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 Hefty bonus.
May I roll occult since I was sustaining the spell?
Yes, please do. Please do.
Oh, thank God. It's so strong. Please roll something better than a 1.
Okay, so let's get a sense of how everybody did on these initiative rolls, and let's start with Zoe. Zoe, how did Ao do? I know we just said you rolled a 1, but this is the part of the show where I ask you how you rolled, so I ask
But
you
I
to repeat yourself.
Do
Sorry.
get to add some numbers to that, so 22.
Okay. 22, very good.
Well,
Well, yeah, no, not good. I mean, you are very, very slow.
22,
So
very
this,
slow.
and you rolled deception. So this is an instance of just very bad luck at a very bad time, a very good plan that just happened to go wrong because of the dice. That's just kind of the way it goes sometimes. Unfortunately, Armat, how did Istin do on this
Istin did
initiative check?
weirdly good. He got a 19 on the die for a 34. So he's I guess kind of ready to roll today. He had his Wheaties.
Okay. All right. Istin strapped in, ready to go. How did Trill do here? As Trill is following the magical lead of the Lange Ruby towards this guard checkpost.
Well, I mean, thankfully, her occult modifier is amazing. At least I feel like it's pretty good for this level. But Trill's kind of on the same path as Ao, and Trill rolled a 2. So Trill's at 22, but she gets to battle cry.
Okay.
Let's give this a try. Battle cry wasn't a bad roll. That was a 17 on the die for a 38.
17 on the die for 38 versus the one of these creatures that you are able to see. 38 versus their will DC. That's a critical success. And they flinch back, but they are immune to fear effects. It's a critical success. You scream in their face so effectively, but you have no impact on them at all. They know the fear too well.
Okay, or deafens immune to fear effects.
And finally, David, how did Mag do on this initiative check as Mag watches Ao pass her and then fail to get this deception ploy going?
Yeah, I think like Istin, Mag could sort of see that maybe things were faltering for Ao, so she was ready to fight. It's a 17 on the die for a 32.
A fantastic roll. What that means is that when we are at the beginning of round 1 here, it is going to be either Istin or Mag that go first, as you see that these Urdeffins at this guard post are going to take advantage of the situation or that they are about to jump in to attack you, and you are ready to attack them first. I'm going to describe the scenario here before I get a move from either one of you, if you don't mind.
Sure.
But basically, the story here is that you are in a Y intersection. You're in a small, cramped cavern pathway, and there are 3 Urdeffins camped out in one of these passageways as a guard post, and you are attempting to sneak by, but running afoul of them. These are cramped quarters. The walls are all around you, and it is very dark in here. Istin or Mag are up first. Who do we think is going to go?
Istin, I think, has an idea, seeing the tight quarters. And so unless Mag gives him the high sign, he's going to go stride down to the head of the party in front of where Ao was trying to deceive the Urdeffins. And he's going to slam his staff into the ground and say, "You shall let us pass!" And he's going to cast Shockwave and place a 15-foot cone such that it hits all the Urdeffins.
Gosh, that's so cool. Like, those cone ones are so hard for us to cast because we never want to smash each other.
Yeah.
Totally.
What a perfect opening placement for you.
Thank you.
I do love it. Let's throw a hero point at Istin, right?
Ooh,
Why not?
yeah.
Why shouldn't we do such a thing?
Huzzah! Also, I've never used Shockwave, and I'm excited to.
Nice.
Okay, so I'm going to make a bunch of reflex saves, is what it seems like.
Yep, DC 27.
As these 3 Urdeffins try to hit the deck to not be blasted aside by your shockwave, I've got 2 failures and a critical failure.
Awesome. So they all fall prone, and the crit failure also takes 1d6 damage, which I'll roll for you. There we go. 2!
Okay.
Take that, Urdeffin!
So that's the Urdeffin right in front of you. This blast of energy slips out of Istin's staff, pummeling one of these Urdeffins for 2. They all slip back and crunch on the floor.
Oh, interesting, though. Am I going to block access here?
Uh-oh.
I don't know what
Can
you're
you
talking
get around
about.
to the other side of them?
Oh.
Like, could you move for your final action to
I think
make space for everyone else?
Fortunately, I used a move to get into here,
Uh,
and then, I might have screwed us, actually.
Mag can barrel through.
Yeah, I'll just fucking whatever. You know what I mean?
All right.
They're all gonna. Mag's gonna go, and then the 3 of them go before Ao and I go anyway.
Are you out of actions, Armat?
I am out of actions with that.
Okay.
Shockwave is a 2-action spell. So, sorry. Anyway.
All right. Well, that's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
I just got so
Knocked them
excited.
down. That was cool.
Yeah, exactly. They're pretty jacked up by your turn. Lars,
I'm going to share a rule with you if this is helpful for you.
Yeah, I want to shove Istin out of the way. How many actions?
Yeah.
You don't have to. These are the rules for prone and incapacitated creatures. You can share a space with a prone creature if that creature is willing, unconscious, or dead, or if it is yours and it is your size or smaller. That's not relevant.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that.
So I just like, I'm in this instance very inclined to let you move through these creature spaces. Just because they're prone. Like I let's call it difficult terrain, and in this instance, let's just keep things moving by letting you move through.
I still
Thank
got to
you.
tumble through Istin, though, right?
No, you don't. You can pass through your friend spaces without needing to tumble.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Like this to me, given like the space of this, the way that I'll narrate this to you, David, is I think that Mag has the sense that she can get through this like bowling pin catastrophe that Istin has just created for you, if she does a sudden charge to blast her way through the tunnel up to the far side of all of these enemies.
Yep, I do that thing. I will sudden charge, which is 2 actions worth of movement. Oh, now my little token is stuck behind my friend.
Yeah, that happens. I saw her for a second.
Yeah, she was there. All right, I'm gonna sudden charge, which is a 2-action sequence. I'm allowed to move up to twice my range. I don't need to do that. Or I guess if they're difficult terrain, I barely need to do that. But anyway, I have enough
just
range
to make it like even more by the book, there is a space right here that Mag can slip through. Fine.
Oh, nice. I tried to put myself there earlier, and it said I was colliding with I guess I was colliding with the wall to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to be there. I enjoy to be there because I can mash them all from there.
Yeah, so this space that Mag finds herself in, she slips past Istin and is now surrounded by prone or deafens. Her back is up against the wall of this little passageway, and there are 3 of these guards splayed out in front of her.
I would like to moosh the one that is, in front here, twixt me and Istin.
Great.
I moosh.
Mag mooshes?
It is a 23 to moosh.
That moosh connects because this creature is off guard. Mag, even though it was a 4 on the die, Earthbreaker finds exactly where it wants to get to.
It's a total of 19 damage. Not an amazing damage roll for me.
Not an amazing damage roll, but you do manage to injure this or deafen on the ground slightly, and I believe you have another action.
Yeah, I moosh further.
Sure.
I further moosh. Oh, dokie.
Okie dokie.
Oh, man. Rough. Maybe it's this ring, guys. I'm thinking this ring is maybe not good for us. This part was a lie.
Very bad.
It's very
am reaching into this stack of aces. This stack of spades. There are 7 cards. One of these is going to be the ace of spades. I'm going to take a look at it right now. I know what it is. But if you want to find out what it is, you're going to have to come back next time because we're going to pick up from there.
Well played.
Doink.
Doink.
That was good. I approve.
Agreed.
The Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Roots of Ruin is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit our website, tabletopgold.com, to learn more about us and our shows, join the Golden Horde to get access to more shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.